The saving message are those at the heart of the work, chosen vessels that can receive the golden oil, which the heavenly messengers, represented as two olive trees, empty into the golden tubes to replenish the lamps. Are those whom he has bidden to communicate the light from the burning lamps to others, that the regions of darkness may have opportunity to hear the saving message, doing their duty. Testimonies to Ministers and Gospel Workers, page 397, paragraph 1. Brethren, the saving message has been committed to the SDA Church, as proven by the spirit of prophecy. See the existing reality on how the SDA Church has been entrusted the proclamation of the saving message, towards the end of this video. Thanks in advance for watching. We now proceed to the confirmation of the saving message, Testimonies to Ministers and Gospel Workers, page 397, paragraph 1. What's the timeline under Revelation 18:1 from the East, that was used by the man with the dirt brush, who write down on chart the saving message that comes through the oil from the two olive trees to fill the lamps of the 5 wise virgins who are waiting for the arrival of the bridegroom? On page 409, paragraph 1 of the book The Great Controversy, states that the foundation and central pillar of the Advent faith was the declaration unto 2,300 days then shall the sanctuary be cleansed. Daniel 8:14. The fact that the 2,300 days reckoning in Daniel 8:14 as the foundation of the Advent faith is mentioned by the spirit of prophecy, proves the very reason why it was the timeline used under the third angel's message from the west referring to the literal 2,300 days reckoning, and likewise the same timeline used under Revelation 18:1 from the east referring to the symbolic 2,300 days reckoning. Revelation 18:1 from the east unites with the third angel's message from the west, during the days of the voice of the seventh angel, Revelation 10:7 that arrived in our generation today. See how the scripture in Daniel 8:14 interpret itself that confirms the fact why the 2,300 days reckoning configured the past, the present, and the future of God's plan, the very reason why it has been defined as the foundation of the Advent faith by the spirit of prophecy. That is why in our sanctuary doctrine our very own timeline is no other than the 2,300 days reckoning, which is both literal and symbolic. The symbolic 2,300 days reckoning as disclosed on chart in the background is God's own yardstick that measure his sanctuary to unlock the past, the present, and the future of God's plan. And this is the timeline used under Revelation 18:1 message whose glory arise from the east. We are now living at this stage in prophecy that arrived during the days of the voice of the seventh angel, Revelation 10:7, when the mystery of God should be finished. By the time when Revelation 18:1 from the east have already united with the third angel's message from the west starting 2002 AD, the start of the last period of probation. Mrs. Ellen G. White used the literal 2,300 days reckoning, as the timeline under the third angel's message from the west, to write down on chart the closed door message in relation to time, when the little book of John was sealed, the fulfillment of John's vision in Revelation chapter 10 verses 4 and 6, that arrived in the year 1900 when Mrs. White wrote down the no definite tracing of prophetic time beyond 1844, that was pinned on chart by the key of David, see chart, as contained inside the Philadelphia Sixth Church closed door message, that unite with the Laodicean Seventh Church period, SDA Church in the year 1900. Now in our present generation, the same rule applied on how the 2,300 days reckoning in Daniel 8:14 as the foundation and central pillar of the Advent faith, the two olive trees as the man with the dirt brush, used this timeline under Revelation 18:1 referring to the symbolic 2,300 days reckoning, to write down on chart the open door message in relation to time when the little book of John has been completely unsealed, the fulfillment of John's vision in Revelation 10:8 that arrived by 2002 AD, that was pinned on chart by the key of David, see chart, as contained inside the Philadelphia Sixth Church open door message, that unite with the Laodicean Seventh Church period, SDA Church by year 2002. The time will be fulfilled as foretold in Revelation 18, when the mighty angel that shall lighten the earth with his glory, Revelation 18:1 from the east, will proclaim the fall of Babylon, and call upon God's people to forsake her. The Review and Herald, December 13, 1892, paragraph 2. Brethren, the fall of Babylon is shown in vision by God to Daniel in Daniel chapter 2, are both spiritual and historical in meaning. Spiritual, in a sense that there's a deterioration of religion and morality among the people of these kingdoms resulting to their fall as a result of national apostasy. Physical, in a sense that the dream presents a synopsis of world history of four powerful kingdoms, until finally the collapse of this temporal kingdoms on earth, to be replaced by the setting up of God's kingdom of glory, symbolized by the stone which smote down the great image. Daniel interpreted what is meant by the symbols that were shown to King Nebuchadnezzar in his dream, on what was symbolized by the elements such as gold, silver, brass, iron, mixture of iron and clay, comprising the great image statue, as the succession of great world empires in history which come and go, until their final collapse when the stone that was cut out of the mountain fell into its feet. How the man with the dirt brush have unlocked the great image code mystery in Daniel chapter 2 dream and vision of the collapse of world empires, by using the symbolic 2300 days reckoning as the timeline under Revelation 18:1 from the East. By applying the symbolic 2300 days reckoning, see bottom portion of the chart in the background, to the entire chapter and verse location of Daniel 2:24-45 that mention the dream by King Nebuchadnezzar and the interpretation of the said dream as shown in vision by God to the prophet Daniel, we could see clearly on how the scripture interpret itself, as written on chart by the man with the dirt brush who was given access to unlock the coming end of world history. See charts. Unlocking the Great Image Code Mystery in Daniel chapter 2, by the man with the dirt brush. The Great Image Code transpired by year 2004, signifying the collapse of all temporal kingdoms on earth from its 12 foundations, that will arrive at the end of the heavenly sign of the prophet Jonah. Namely 72 heavens hours equivalent to 24 years on earth after 2004 AD. There were harbingers just before the Great Image Code transpired at 2004 AD. They all gave witness to the number that is 4. We have the following. Number 1. The U.S. bombardment in Iraq during the last 2003 U.S.-Iraq War, began at 4 a.m., Iraqi time. Number 2. During the last 9/11 terrorist attack inside the United States last 2001, there were 4 hijacked airplanes piloted by the terrorists. 2 of the planes crashed into the Twin Towers of New York City's World Trade Center, while the third was flown into the Pentagon, the Department of Defense headquarters near Washington. While passengers on the 4th plane, en route to Washington, retook control of the aircraft and crashed it into a field in Pennsylvania. Number 3. The Great Image Code that disclosed the 206 marking as the end of probationary period for all 4 temporal kingdoms on earth, where we could see the number that is 4. While the 5th kingdom represented by the stone that smote down the whole image statue, is not temporal, but everlasting. Number 4. Year 2004 when the Great Image Code transpired, lies at 6,004 years from creation. Notice the excess of 4 years to the close of 6,000 years. Number 5. The 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds to be released after the sealing of God's people was done by another angel ascending from the east, Revelation chapter 7. This another angel ascending from the east in Revelation chapter 7 verses 1-3, refers to the angel of the covenant, according to the spirit of prophecy, who cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, to hold in check the 4 winds until the last message of warning and mercy has been accomplished by the angel that is to lighten the earth with his glory, Revelation 18:1 from the east, as the 4th angel's message, where we could see in figure the number that is 4. The 4 winds represent the terrible scenes of conquest and revolution by which kingdoms have attained to power. The Great Controversy, page 439 paragraph 3. When the 4 winds in Revelation chapter 7 be released, this would mean war among nations to escalate towards the final crisis. Number 6. Revelation 18:1 from the east that proclaims the second message of the gospel, God's kingdom of glory, is the 4th angel's message, that unites with the 3rd angel's message from the west which proclaims the first message of the gospel, God's kingdom of grace. They unite by year 2002 at the start of the last period of probation ever granted to mankind, that was 2 years before the Great Image Code transpired last 2004 AD. Likewise, By combining all the symbols that were used under the great image in Daniel chapter 2 dream and vision of world empires during the time of King Nebuchadnezzar, and Daniel's dream of 4 successive world empires during the time of King Belshazzar in Daniel chapter 7, will identify the man with the dirt brush in William Miller's dream, who was given the open door as promised through the Philadelphia 6th Church open door message, Revelation 3:7-8, Key of David, see chart, to unlock the coming end of world history. This chart proves the very reason why the man with the dirt brush is the 2 olive trees imparted to human instrumentalities, has been chosen by God to write down on chart, the open door message in relation to time when the little book of John has been completely unsealed, the fulfillment of John's vision in Revelation 10:8 that arrived by 2002 AD, that was pinned on chart by the Key of David, as contained inside the Philadelphia 6th Church open door message, that unite with the Laodicean 7th Church period, SDA Church by year 2002. This 85 marking is shown on chart in the background that duplicates the same 85 marking on previous chart 28C, linking the identity of the man with the dirt brush, who received the open door message, as promised through the Philadelphia 6th Church open door, Revelation 3:7-8, to unlock the coming end of world history. Brethren, get yourself aware regarding where we are now in prophecy after Revelation 18:1 from the east, has already united with the 3 angels' messages from the west, whose union constitutes the light of the present truth through the gospel. By acquiring the 265-page ebook copy with 128 charts, available upon request to the 2 olive trees. Kindly please do not forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. God bless us all.